Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge Chäos Noir. Und beim letzten Mal sind wir einem der Kernthemen, oder ja, kam es ja zu einem der Kernthemen von diesem Werk. Und ich persönlich würde sagen, dass die letzte Folge einer der wichtigsten Abschnitte des gesamten Spiels beleuchtet, dargestellt hat. So, the voices of the Dookie and couple and the Kogayus were way too loud, so I quickly got out of the while telling them all to go to hell in my head. Hatte ich hier nicht gespeichert gehabt? Ich hatte gesagt, ich hätte hier gespeichert gehabt, aber okay. Gut, egal. So yeah, that's how I ended up getting tangled up with an IRL Juni chick. Okay, asshole, this time you have pissed me off. So, seriously, Lord Nighthead, you're always saying shit like, oh, ain't about 3D, but you've been getting real nice and close with a bunch of 3D girls recently, haven't you? You even said earlier that one of them broke into your house. It is you, that's straight out of an arrow game. You've plunged straight into your once-in-a-lifetime chance to be popular. Alright, listen well. I will admit that I have indeed amassed quite the number of opportunities to speak with cute females. However, jetzt kommt auch mal was, ne? Every single IRL one is a fucking mental case. Das heißt, also quasi nuts, beziehungsweise die sollten sich mal einen Psychologen suchen. Ehrlich, der Hauptcharakter ist auch nicht besser. You try being on the receiving end of the brain-mating Denpa attacks. The sheer scale of Shizo. It's legitimately horrifying. Okay, I truly am sorry. Don't worry about it all. Even after I'd gotten back home, I had still been somewhat interested in what Sinna had told me. Of course, I didn't think that what she said was true, but I was pretty sure that I would be able to confirm it for myself if I did a little bit of research into the patent and the memorandum specifically. So with Grimm's help, I started searching the internet. I also was able to get one of Grimm's friends who lived in America to help us out as well. But even with all that help, I still didn't think we were gonna find anything. In this day and age, you couldn't trust anyone without a source. Also, so falsch ist das nicht. You just, MSG. Yo, I just got a message from Shio. Shio was a friend of Grimm that I had mentioned earlier. He lived in America and spoke fluent English. Let me guess, bullshit, right? That stupid fucking mental case. She had to have just been making a fool out of me because she didn't think I could understand English. Don't underestimate the power of the internet. The power of the internet is quite dangerous. Consider yourself pawned. It exists apparently. Huh? It exists? What did? The guy went out of his way to tell it for us. Anyway, let me update. Is this just more bullshit? A bait. Man, you don't trust me.
もしかしてマジなのか
Also, that's probably my fault for being an ass most of the time. I knew you. But, I'd been tricked by Grimm several times in the past. If I trusted him like I usually did, he would hit me with something so bad that it would make my brain blue screen. But he was saying that he was going to invite Shio, and that he even had a source for us. If this is just you baiting me again, I will kick you out of the guild. Okay, trust me just this once. He was surprisingly confident. Maybe it really was a kid trust him this time.
僕はなんてお人よしなんだ
slightly nervous. I squinted my eyes half-raised to protect myself from seeing anything too quickly or too clearly, and then I clicked the link. Dieses Ding kenne ich. Das habe ich mir mal angeschaut. Zu einer Zeit, wo ich, glaube ich, mehr oder weniger das erste Mal Chäos Set Noah geguckt habe. Chäos Set geguckt habe. Noah ist ja diese PC-Version, die ich gerade spiele. Die Serie heißt ja nur Chäos Set. Und da habe ich mich ein bisschen dann Internet reingearbeitet in diese ganze Thematik. Und ich bin der Meinung, da bin ich auch auf das hier gestoßen. Also, aber alles in Bezug von Chäos Set. Zumindest wenn ich mich recht entsinne. War das alles nur in Bezug zu Chäos Set und nicht drüber hinaus. What is this? It was a document written in English with a bunch of strange diagrams on the lower half. Part of it looked like a human face. The headline read United States patent. I knew that much at least. In other words, this was...
アメリカの特許。
Yup.
VR 技術を知っているか？すでに実際にテストは成功している。ある研究チームが特許を取得済みだ。
Yep, it was real. I then went to open one of the two text files that had come in bundled with it. One of them had a series of new articles that seemed to mention the patent, all of which were translated into Japanese. One said that the Psychological Research Laboratory of America's Victor Chandria University was currently researching a groundbreaking invention known as VR, visual rebuilding. As the goal of the research was primarily for healthcare, it had been gaining the attention of visually impaired people from all over the world. It was groundbreaking technology that enabled people who were blind from birth to see the scenery in front of them through video cameras and other imaging devices. To put it simply, this was done by converting signals, the ones that composed the image data that the video camera received, into the only signals the brain could recognize, electrical signals known as nerve impulses. These are then transported to the brain via the optic nerve. There had already been successful tests, and the patent had already been registered.
本当に認められてる。
So did that mean that what Sena had said wasn't just some Juni delusion? I go up, then went to open the other text file. I began reading Presidential Documents Memorandum of March 27, 1997. Strengthened protections from human subjects of classified research. The agencies shall jointly propose to prohibit waiver of informed consent for classified research. Part of it said, beginning 1 year after the date of this memorandum, no agency shall conduct or support classified human resource without having proposed and promulgated the common rule, said another. The document was then signed at the bottom by William G. Clinton. Oh, Clinton! Enclosed with the White House, Washington, March 27, 1997. Wow. Tja, memorandum from the President of the United States. The content sounded like the premise to a movie or something, so I never would have thought it was actually real. I went to check the original document via the URL. Even I could read English for the most part. Despite how I might have looked, it was a lot smarter than those Ukrainians that went to school every day. The actual contents written in the document were the same as the translated text. Sender's word echoed in the back of my mind.
ある意図的な情報を神経パルスへコンバートすることが可能なら、人の五感すべて、さらには人の意志そのものもコントロールできるんじゃないか。
Yup. It was starting to get somewhat difficult to understand at this point, but with what Senna told me combined with the source we had found online that backed her up, it all sent chills down my spine. I had a feeling that something terrible was lurking within. But what confused me the most was what Senna's true intentions were in telling me all this. Did it have anything to do with me? The part about being able to control people's free will definitely wasn't something I could dismiss as somebody else's problem, because there was a possibility that I was a sleepwalker. On the day of the third gen incident, the crucifixion, I had been told that I had been posting in a chat room as Shogun. Apparently I had posted from Ad Cafe too, but I had no memory of any of it. Nicht nur das, wir hatten ja die eine Szene, wo er nachts aufgestanden ist, an seinen PC gegangen ist und unter Shogun und in mehreren Threads, also unter dem Namen Shogun in mehreren Threads halt, Whose Eyes Are Those? Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes? Gepostet hat. Gleichzeitig haben wir einen alten Mann im Rollstuhl in einem menschenleeren Shibuya angetroffen, mitten auf der Scramble Crossing, der gesagt hat, er wäre Shogun. Ich weiß, wie das alles zusammenhängt, aber ich möchte nicht spoilern. Ich wollte nur noch mal dran erinnern, an diese Dinge, an diese Informationen, die wir schon haben. And not only that, but I had absolutely no memory of Remy too. We had been classmates for over a year, and we had been close enough to hang out on multiple occasions, yet I had no memory of any of it. Maybe I had done all of those things while I was being manipulated by some other being. Besides, I was terrible at talking to 3D girls, to begin with, so there was no way I would be close to a cute girl like Remy normally. No, I was thinking too hard about this. At the very least, I knew that the chat thing was just one of yours delusions. Shogun was separate and was a separate entity from me. He was trying to entrap me, and it didn't go beyond that. This was true, regardless of whether or not he had actually been the old man in the wheelchair that had appeared in front of 107. Maybe Senaya too was one of Shogun's underlings. Maybe she was just trying to deceive me. Don't just blindly accept everything without questioning it. Don't trust a suspicious girl that you don't actually know. Senna and you were both of the same breed. Alter, ey, Junge. That's how it should go, right, Seratan? The only sound present in the room was the distinct clicking of a keyboard. Kusunoki Yua's thin, supple fingers moved as if they were dancing, her gaze fixed on the monitor all the time. Her touch typing was effortless, and she made next to no typos. She was writing an email. A very long one at that. Yua had already been writing for almost half an hour, endlessly deliberating over the contents of the email and making frequent revisions as she continued to type. Suddenly her fingers stopped moving. With a small pained sigh, she abruptly pressed and held down the backspace key. The cursor that was lit up on the monitor began scrolling leftward at high speed. All of the long sentences she had written so far disappeared nearly instantaneously as the cursor traveled across the screen. Und abgeschickt. When all of the contents had been erased, Yua took hold of the Geo froggy stuffed animal lying on her bed, then hugged it tightly to her chest. This was the habit that Yua had developed recently. If she did not hug something in this way, she would be faced with unbearable anxiety. Burying her chin in the stuffed animal, Yua sighed once again and shook her head softly. Murmuring softly to no one in particular, Yua's expression stiffened. With the stuffed animal resting on her lap, she returned her hands to the keyboard. Within the monitor, each letter she typed in a fluid manner was quickly displayed in a sequence. Gelöscht wohl offenbar und nicht. Compared to the one she had erased just moments before, this email was far more short and simple. It only served to provide the bare necessities of what she needed to convey. When she finished writing, Yua hesitated for a moment, and then she resolutely clicked on the send icon. Before she could stop it from going through, the email had already been sent in the blink of an eye. Das ist so die Sache mit E-Mails. Die sind ganz schnell weg. Da kann man nicht mehr so einfach rückgängig machen. Yua squeezed the Geo froggy sitting on her lap tightly and continued to stare at the monitor in front of her for over an hour. Although she had not been expecting one, there was no sign of a reply at all. There I was, in my beloved room 37. As I sank down into the recliner, I started chewing on my nails in an attempt to distract myself from my irritation. There was a reason why I came to Act Cafe 2 days in a row, yesterday and today. 2 nights ago, after Grim Shio and I had found out that what Sena had said was true, I had received an email from Yua. In it, she would insolently said that she wanted to talk to me one more time. Fuck off, I'd wanted to tell her. What the hell did she mean she wanted to talk? After receiving me like that, I had nothing to say to her. Even if I did, she would probably just come up with some new fancy way to trap me when I went to see her, as if I could risk that. If it was true that I wasn't used to talking to girls. That was why I had been so happy back when Yua was sitting on me. And yet the harlot had been toying with me behind my back. And on top of that, she had come up with all those insane delusions. Even I had delusions, sure, but I never bothered anyone else with them. But that girl assaulted me with her shizu bullshit that threatened me like I was the new gen culprit. I could never forgive what she had done to me, never. So I had ignored her email, but there had still been one thing that concerned me. In her email she said she was going to come to my base, and I knew for a fact that she knew my address. Yep, that was why I decided to take refuge in Ad Cafe, despite it not being a school day. If I had the option, I would have brought my D-sword as a protective charm, but unlike Senna, I didn't have the courage to work down Santa Guy with it. At any rate, spending almost half a day in the internet cafe was fairly tiring. The recliners were comfortable and it was equipped with showers, but I still couldn't fully relax like I could at my base. And then the biggest problem of all, Saratan wasn't here. After 2 days spent holed up in the cafe, I realized just how much the mere presence of Saratan helped me. I wanted to hurry up and get back to my base as soon as possible, but going back late at night would mean the date would change. And by that time, the last train would already be gone. I figured that you most likely wouldn't be waiting for me anymore by then. I had to stick around for another 4 hours, before the clock would strike midnight. I was sure time would go by a lot faster if I played ESO. I moved my gaze over to the PC monitor. My second character, Liselotte, was standing there, aimlessly not moving.
お前の見ている景色は本物か?
Cinder's words came to mind. More than half of what she had said was true. The only thing I couldn't find the source for was the part where she was talking about controlling even people's wills and bodies. Maybe that part was just a delusion of hers. Mixing in just a few lies with the truth was a clever and effective way to scare people, especially with threats. Even though my reasonable side knew all that, I couldn't help but feel scared as I thought about all the strange, inexplicable phenomena that had been plaguing me over the past few weeks. In a daze, I looked at Liselotte on the screen.
リーゼロってお前の見ている景色は本物か?
Keeping my voice low to avoid being overheard, I whispered that absent-mindedly. I had thought about something like this several times in the past. The world that I was looking at right now, Baselight, was the world that Liselotte lived in. It might have been real for her, but from my perspective it was fake. Which meant that the world that I lived in was seen as a fake from the point of view of the person controlling me. However, just as Liselotte couldn't perceive me as a higher being, I also couldn't perceive the person controlling me as a higher being. Dritte Wand! Hallöle! Taku, ich bin's. Der Mann, der dich kontrolliert. Zumindest in dem Fall. I wondered if Liselotte was thinking the same thing that I was thinking. At the very least, she couldn't move on her own. I had to interfere in order for her to move. So what about me? Maybe I too couldn't get up from this recliner without the interference of the person controlling me. To test this, I tried to stand up. I did it with ease. After that, I tried sitting down. It took no effort. Sorry, das finde ich gerade irgendwie sehr lustig. But the sequence of events, was it really of my own volition? Or was it the result of someone's interference? I had no way of knowing. Yep.
Eh?
Huh? I heard the sound of the partition door to the private room being opened behind me, and at the same time I felt someone come in. Started, I turned around. Ich glaube, es war Yua. Jupp, ich hatte richtig. Ich Kusunoke Yua. Ich hatte richtig im Kopf gehabt. I was so devastated, I was about to scream. But Yua's hand quickly covered my mouth. Assault. And was hot, and the scent of your sweat infiltrated my nose.
声は出さないで。出さないって約束して。約束してくれるよね。
Alter.
しないなんて言わないよね。
Psycho Yua ist wieder da.
約束して。するでしょ。するの。お願い。
Komm, Psycho Yua, wir kicken rein. It's a small private room. The only way here out was blocked by Yua. The next thing I knew, my shoulders were being held down with such incredible force I couldn't even get up from the seat. Yua's cold gaze pierced through me at the point blank range. I couldn't help but look away, and my eyes fell on the three Gero froggies attached to the bag she was carrying on her shoulder.
声を出さないで。
Die Frage ist, kriegt die jetzt eine Delusion rein oder if I didn't do as he said, York would kill me. Believing so, I didn't resist, just not alone. Kickt jetzt rein oder nicht? Ist die Frage. Ah, es kickt rein.
どうしても伝えたかった。好き。好きなの。
Yandere.
大好
Das ist Yandere.
き。分かってる。私のものになって。お願い。
I had thought that confessions were supposed to be romantic, heart-rending and happy. But this wasn't like that. This was terrifying. Every word had sent chills down my spine. In a situation like this, I'd normally confess my love as well, but here it felt like I would be signing my own death sentence if I did. I had no choice but to clear and refuse. This girl was nothing more than a stalker. If I didn't refuse here and now, I would be totally fucked. Ich erwähne sicher nochmal, aber am wackelnden Bild kann man erkennen, dass das alles nur in seinem Kopf gerade abgeht. I forcefully shook off Yua's hand. Yua's expression became tense as if in shock. Showing her head and had the manner instantly turned timid.
そんなに嫌われてたなんて。ごめんなさい。もう付きまといません。さようなら、石城くん。
She pulled herself away and turned back to me, her shoulders dropped. And then she shakily walked out of the private room. I said it. I said it. Seeing her crying, that actually made me feel relieved. Alter, ey. I couldn't help but be happy that I'd finally been freed from that stalker. So much so that I unconsciously struck a victory pose. Only to suddenly come back to myself. Since life was never that easy, Yua was right in front of me, covering my mouth.
西条くんのこと騙してたわけだし。
She was murmuring something in a quieter whisper. I hadn't heard what she had said at all. I had been busy escaping from reality. How nice it would have been if the delusion had been real. Das finde ich auch schön. That I had been busy escaping from reality. Finde ich ein geiler Satz. With no way for my wish to come true, Yua continued to talk.
でも、お願いです。一つだけ言わせてください。これ以上、あなたが傷つくのも、あなたが不幸になるのも、あなたのせいで不幸になる人が出るのも見たくないんです。
What was she talking about? She was talking as if she knew everything about me, despite the fact that we hadn't even spent 24 hours together. Just what the hell did this girl actually know about me? Was this just another one of her signature bad shit insane delusions? A shudder ran through me, and I started flailing my arms and legs, but even so, Yua didn't let go. If this went on for much longer, this girl might actually kill me. Had Shogun given up on trying to trap me and had Justin you as an assassin instead? I don't wanna die, I don't wanna die, I don't wanna die.
ごめんなさい。お願いだから静かにしてください。話はすぐ終わりますから。
The tone of her voice was meek, but the power behind your hands as she held me down was so strong. Even if I tried to resist, she wouldn't budge an inch. I couldn't believe that such slender hands could be so powerful. You inched her face closer and closer to mine. I desperately turned my head away. That was when I noticed your hands were trembling. Or was it just that my hands were shaking so much it made it look like hers were too? While I pondered that, something unbelievable came out of her mouth. What?
自覚がないんですね。でもそれも私には理解できます。西条君に自覚があるはずないから。
Knowing what?
あなたは
Your eyes shone with sorrow. Even though she had been staring at me intently until now, she suddenly cast her eyes downward.
DIT 多重人格なんです。
I had multiple personalities?
最初はあなたのこと警察に突き出すつもりでした。
Despite how confused I was, you continued to talk.
それが無理ね。この手でとも思ってました。だけどあなたのこと調べていくうちにあなたも苦しんでるんだって分かって。
The eyes behind yours glasses once again took hold of me. They pleaded with me. And no matter how hard I tried to see it as something else, I couldn't see her as anything other than genuinely worried about me. And that horrified me.
私あなたを助けたい。
This girl's delusions were getting out of control. What she was saying was totally insane. Or was it? Was it really insane?
だから病院に行きましょう。
I didn't truly know myself, understand myself. I had posted in a chat room under the handle Shogun without knowing it. Even though I had no memory of it, I had become friends with a girl named Dreamy. It wasn't just me sleepwalking, and it wasn't some higher being controlling me. Maybe the person controlling me from inside my head literally was inside my head. I wasn't me. I was a different personality. I had multiple personalities. My head hurt, a throbbing stabbing pain ripped through it. That wasn't possible. The entire thing was bullshit. Who would have ever believed that? It too was yet another one of yours delusions. She was my enemy. She was impeding my way of life. She was trying to trap me. She was trying to destroy my mind. Even the hospital itself was under Shogun's reign. The only person I trusted, Dr. Takashina, had disappeared in such a sudden, inexplicable manner. Shogun must have made him disappear, and if I did what you said, he would make me disappear too. I don't believe her. It's not true. 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 Das ist mir ein bisschen zu viel, das alles zu wiederholen. I was stuck in my own head. I shoved you off me with every one strength I could muster. Slamming into a wooden sliding door behind her, you slumped down to the floor with a grimace. Finally freed from yours grasp, I grabbed my bag, stepped over yours body and made for the exit. Wait. Still crumpled on the floor, you grabbed my ankle. Her hair was disheveled and her glasses were falling off her face, but she made no effort to fix them. Seeing her clinging so desperately to me terrified me so much a pathetic scream escaped from my mouth. She was my enemy, one of Shogun's underlings. I won't be deceived. I won't be deceived by everyone by you ever again. I shouted as loud as I could and you quickly let go of me. In that window I bolted out of the room. I tore a 50 yen bill from my wallet and slammed it down on the counter in front of the dumbfounded receptionist. And then without getting my chains, I burst onto the elevator leading outside. Und ich würde sagen, an dem Punkt beende ich jetzt mal diese Folge. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.